Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's morning musings is all about non-resistance. Now, I'm reading from my blog, Adventures in Density and Effort, and I wrote this blog post a while back. So as I share it with you, if I come across anything that feels outdated because the world has changed so much in the past few years, I'll just interrupt myself and give you an update. Abraham Hicks says that there's only source energy and resistance to source, that there's no darkness, no evil, only resistance. Long ago, I realized that evil was just our collective consciousness of negative thoughts and emotions, and that if we're engaged in addiction or compulsively dwelling on negative topics, we're contributing to this pool of black energy. So there's only source energy, which is both creative source in this universe and also our essence. And there's resistance to source. Every thought we think goes out like a request to source. So if we think, I'd like to have a new hybrid car, Source immediately receives the request and goes about manifesting it for us. However, if our next thought is, but I can't afford it, then we've immediately negated that request. We've put out our own resistance to Source. So every time we see someone drive by in a new hybrid car and resentfully think, yeah, they're rich enough to afford it, then we put out our resistance to source. We've learned patterns of resistance from our childhood. We've inherited them from previous generations, adopted from various peer groups and cultural influences. So that life is now like playing bumpo cars rather than an enjoyable Disneyland where dreams really do come true. In previous issues, I've talked about techniques to release energy from within one's space, ways to let go of one's inner resistance to source. Non-resistance is a concept and a technique not to absorb resistance from outside oneself. How to avoid the other bumper cars on the road. Imagine yourself to be transparent, your molecules loose and relaxed so that negative energy passes right through them. Originally, I called this technique body of glass. And if that works for you, then that's a great visual image for you to use. But I have two rambunctious sons who've managed to break windows and mirrors in several of the houses we've lived in. So that image no longer works for me. The idea of being transparent, the sensation of my molecules having space between them so that negative energy passes through me like a summer breeze through a screen door is what works best for me. Consider what driving through rush hour traffic could be like if you were non-resistant. Consider what telling your teenagers to clean their room would be like from non-resistance. You could maintain your own inner serenity. Life would be more pleasant. Others could be free to experience their own reality, and you needn't contribute to their resistance, nor the resistance of the collective consciousness. Last week, I had a non-resistance experience based on my own choices. I had to go into Seattle for a meeting and chose to make the best use of my time by visiting all the PCC natural markets and putting up business cards on their bulletin boards. Because my meeting took twice as long as anticipated, it was now rush hour when I started my drive through the city. I caught my I hate rush hour traffic thought and decided that I would take the scenic route for all of my destinations. This means that I drove through areas with parks. I enjoyed the beautiful sunset reflecting off of clouds. I noticed all the Christmas lights that were still up in people's houses, the beautiful different kinds of buildings there are in the city. Even on ugly apartment buildings, some residences had their balconies filled with plants and wind chimes. I ended up spending nearly 5 hours winding my way about North Seattle down to the south end in the West Seattle ferry dock, feeling relaxed and even joyous about my journey. I appreciated all the unique and wonderful people in the world and creative ways they decorate their homes, no matter how humble their abodes may be. I realized how much I love Seattle and how fun it is to know all the little ins and outs of a city so that I could go through a scenic route. And then I got to ride the ferry back to my island feeling very content and happy indeed. So notice whether or not your life is more like bumper cars or you're taking the scenic route on your path. Non-resistance is a series of moment-to-moment choices on how to respond or react to life's circumstances. How do you choose to experience life from this moment forward? And if you have something to say about that, go ahead and add it in the comments below. And if you like these videos, please click the like button. You can go ahead and share them with other people, and also you can subscribe. And if you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. I do individual sessions where I can take a look at the essence of who you are. I can look at what your life purpose is. I can answer any questions that you might have. And if you want to know how to do this for yourself, I have a coaching special that teaches you consciousness techniques. And if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a free sample of one of those techniques in the links below. So have fun playing with this concept, and I'll see you tomorrow with another Morning Musings.